Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about reading assessment and specifically about giving individual diagnostic assessments inside alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. To lead things off, I'm going to go ahead and read. I've got my paper right here, as you can see. So I want you to assess me as I read this paper. So are you ready? Okay, be ready to assess me and tell me how I did while I was reading this. So here we go. I'm starting now. Okay, I'm done. How'd I do? Huh? So you said that you couldn't hear me, that since I was doing silent reading, you couldn't measure what I was doing. Well, do you know what we've done? We have done exactly what we do every time we give the CASAS test. We are assessing our students' silent reading ability, and it only tells us so much. The good news is that we do have access to being able to give individual diagnostic assessments inside alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. And inside alphabetics, we could also give a specific phonics assessments as well. So there is the ability to do this by purchasing the Bader language inventory, and I'll provide a link for that in the course. Let the record show I'm not on their payroll and I'm not endorsing it because I benefit financially in any way. I do not. Your students will be the ones that'll benefit if you're able to give them these individual diagnostic assessments. A couple things about assessment that I'm going to recommend before we dive in, and we'll provide more information about those assessments inside the course. First of all, anytime you're doing an assessment, there's a couple things you should have on hand. The first is these reading glasses, these readers. Are a good thing to have on hand. You should have a basket of these in your classroom or in your assessment area is a good thing to do. Why? As a young instructor, I'd have more mature students say, they'd be looking at something they're reading and doing one of these numbers where they're bringing the thing out at arm's length. And as a 23-year-old, I didn't know what they were doing. But now as a more mature individual with more age beyond them, I know exactly what they're doing. They can't see the small print, and many times we forget our glasses. So have a basket of reading glasses available. You might say, well, that's going to be a huge expensive purchase. Go to the dollar store where everything costs $1 and go pick up some different magnifications. Pick up a 1, pick up a 1.5, pick up a 2, pick up a 2.5. For $8 or $10, you could have every type of magnification that you need under the sun. So that would be a good thing to do just in case your learner does not have their glasses on that particular day. Like me, without my readers, I'm pretty well sunk. Another thing that you can keep in mind is that many of our learners suffer, or some of our learners suffer through something called scotopic sensitivity. And Helen Erland, who's based in Long Beach, California, discovered some years ago that by using various colored overlays like this here, or the brown one here, the gray one rather here, that they can help students who complain of headaches, they complain of eye strain, they might say words on the page jump around. If you've heard any of those things, or a student that will sit in the corner away from bright lights and they might have a ball cap on and they rub their eyes frequently, these are all signs of scotopic sensitivity. And that's just a fancy name for saying their visual processing skills don't work like everyone else's do. And Dr. Erland discovered that through using these simple covered overlays that it can help dramatically their ability to read. I've been searching for 27 years for the magic bullet in adult basic skills education. I haven't found it yet, but this is the closest thing I've seen. It can make a huge difference among learners who have scotopic sensitivity and start using these overlays. You can buy a kit, an Erland screening kit online, which is pretty expensive. What I would suggest is go the cheap route. You can go down to Walmart, the dollar store, get one of these report covers, and these work the same way. Generally, a lot of students need a blue or a light blue color will help them. We had my daughter screened a little over a year ago, And it was eye-opening to see how much it helped her. And she was actually able to get glasses with the tint, the Erlen filter tint inside there, and it certainly helped her quite a bit with headaches that she had been experiencing. So more information about scotopic sensitivity I'll put there in the course. The other thing that you might want to have on hand is a box of tissues. We've discovered a lot of times our learners will break down when they realize that they're not dumb and they're not stupid, these things that they've been told for years about their ability to read. But in fact, just by being able to do these individual diagnostic assessments, have found out what their cause is for their reading difficulties. So these assessments are all very easy to give. You might, the first couple times, be a little unsure, but if you've given the CASAS test before, you were unsure and anxious the first time you gave that, this is just going to be a similar process once you've given these. You can, as an experienced assessor, give all 4 or all 5, if you give the phonics assessment to your learners in under an hour. It's very possible to do, and probably your first go round you could do it maybe in an hour and a half or so. So I'll provide a link to the Bader learning and language inventory that you can use there, and also provide a student score sheet that you can use. But buy, of course, the book or rent the book to be able to use to give to your students. So yes, this does take work, but gosh, I would certainly want to invest an hour to be able to unlock the mystery of why my student was having trouble reading. And what I would really recommend is find the student in your program that's been there forever. You know, the one I'm talking about, they've been there for 10 years. They spend more time in class than you spend working in a week, and they've never seemed to make progress. You've given them post-test after post-test after post-test, and they never, ever, ever seem to make progress. Well, this student is one that there's something going on beyond the curtain, and they've been through all your books and everything else. Give them these individual diagnostic assessments in alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension, and you're going to find out what's going on behind the curtain and really be able to help this student with the challenges that they're going through. So thank you for taking the time to go through this optional section and finding out these tools that can really help your learners. And thank you again so much for taking this course.